Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to recap my first training block of trimester 2. So before you watch this video, keep in mind that before I got pregnant, I was a competitive powerlifter. I had just came off of my 12th powerlifting competition prep. So even though in no way, shape, or form am I trying to be a powerlifter while I'm pregnant, the weights I'm lifting might seem like a lot, but they are not for me. Strength is very relative to the individual. I have been training for a very long time, competing in powerlifting for 7 years, and my goals right now with training are not strength related. I am still squatting, benching, and deadlifting because those are very effective movements when you do them safely, but I am not training with the same intention as I would as a powerlifter. I'm training with my pelvic floor, I'm training with proper breathing mechanics, and I'm training for the ultimate goal of obviously having a healthy pregnancy and baby. If you want to know more specific details about all of the changes I made right away from when I was 4 weeks pregnant and just found out, you can watch my last week's video, which I talked about all of the changes that I made starting first trimester. I kind of touch a little bit on that in this video when I go into those recaps, but if you're curious on more, go ahead and watch that video because I go into a lot more detail there. But anyways, I'm excited for this video. Let's go ahead and hop into it. I am 16 weeks pregnant. I'm definitely starting to show a little bit. I'm up 6 pounds. These are actually my husband's sweatpants. I pretty much can only fit into like my really stretchy clothes right now, but I'm also at that phase where like obviously my stomach's not big enough for maternity clothes. So I have all my outfits planned out for the week. So these are my gym outfits. So this is like a size small short that's stretchy. Same thing here. And these are size small leggings that are really stretchy, so I can still pull those off fine and they're comfortable. And this is actually a size large jumpsuit that is like a little bit loose, but it gives me some room to grow into. And then these are all my work outfits for the week. I'm trying to do Christmas theme because, you know, I'm already celebrating the Christmas season. But like jumpsuits and stretchy dresses, and I also sized up in these pants, but that's pretty much all I could pull off for work outfits right now. Right, Pretzel? We're gonna stretch now.
So the fingers point towards your knees and your palm faces your body. Your left hand stays planted.
So before I get into recapping my first training block of trimester 2, I'm gonna overlay my physique changes as I've been growing this child inside of me. So I have videos every single week from 4 to 16 weeks pregnant, so you'll be able to see the changes of how fast everything has progressed. And honestly, it seems much slower than I originally thought. I thought that because I had like a really small torso, especially, that like I would notice those changes immediately. I literally thought I would be like already looking pregnant at 6 weeks, but that was not the case at all. I did end up gaining weight in trimester 1 because I was able to eat, which is great and awesome because you should be gaining weight your entire pregnancy, but sometimes people are just like so sick and they actually end up losing weight in trimester 1 and then they can't really start gaining that weight until they get into the later trimesters. So I was right on track from the start, which is great. But it's funny because like in the first trimester, if I hadn't taken those week-to-week videos, I would have thought that I looked exactly the same at 12 weeks pregnant from 4 weeks pregnant, but that was simply not true. There were small changes every single week, and I think by the end, I was only up 2.8 pounds. So really, it just looked like I was on a very unsuccessful bulk that was going all to my stomach, but nothing like crazy. It mostly just looks like bloating because your uterus does not start to actually physically move outside of your pelvis until you start the second trimester, which is about at 12 or 13 weeks. So that's when I started noticing more drastic changes. I did start finally going up like a pound a week once I hit trimester 2, which was great. And I think I really was like, whoa, I'm looking pregnant at like 15 weeks, I want to say, is when I really noticed a big shift. But it's been so cool to see the changes. And honestly, I'm just really excited for when I have like a noticeable baby bump, because right now it's just like the awkward phase where you're like, kind of look like I'm pregnant. It might just look like I'm just letting myself go with my nutrition even though I'm working out, but it's been really cool and I'm excited to document my entire pregnancy journey because it's just obviously a very exciting process growing a child. So I'm gonna stay healthy as best as I can. So yeah, let's just hop into the rest of the video. Okay, before I get into talking about my squat, bench, and deadlift and how it was structured, this training block, and the overall foundation of my split, which is pretty much the same as it was pre-pregnancy, I want to start by talking about accessory movements, because assuming you have a basic foundation in lifting and you understand proper lifting mechanics, the most comfortable exercises to start with during pregnancy are going to be with mastering the accessory movements, because it's very natural to exhale as you're moving the weight down in a cable pull down, inhale as you're moving the weight back up. There's not too much focus on the pelvic floor with a movement like that, because you're not really engaging your legs other than to just stabilize and stay in the same position the entire rep. But an exercise like this, on the other hand, you're really opening up your hips, and you have a really good opportunity to practice the pregnancy breathing in conjunction with the pelvic floor. So my favorite exercises for pregnancy so far have been squats and any single leg exercise. This block I had split squats with a front dumbbell load, very light, and so it also got a little bit of core engagement. I also had curtsy step downs, and then this was my other main single leg exercise. But it's really good. I'm going to say this over and over again to the point where it's almost funny, but you need to practice engaging your pelvic floor with the movements. You don't want to tense up too much, and you want to make sure you're inhaling on the way down, the easy parts, exhaling on the way up when you're doing that Cossack squat. One thing that has been very surprising for me this pregnancy is how I've been able to maintain my body weight strength despite gaining weight. So as I mentioned in this video, most of these videos that I'm showing are from 16 weeks pregnant. So this is when I was already up 6 pounds, that's not a lot. I've got a lot of weight gain to go, and I'm really excited for it. But when you are training body weight movements, you notice if you gain weight. Even if you gained a pound or two, you're like, I noticed this is way harder than it was before. And I think one of the reasons why I've been able to maintain good upper body strength so far is because there's not as much to think about with altering how you lift, because you're already likely lifting in a fashion that is naturally safe for pregnancy. There's no modifications that you need to do. The only thing you need to be cautious about, really, as far as what I've shown so far, with lateral or lat pull down variations, with vertical pulling movements like a pull up, you need to stop before you get at risk of not engaging your core anymore, because then you might have some coning in your stomach. So you want to make sure you're not overexerting yourself. Even on an exercise like a lat pull down, you want to make sure that you're going at an RP that is appropriate. And now to move on to my overall workout split. So I have primary squats on Saturday, which is my quote unquote heavy squat day, although I say that, but my week 4 was the only week that I went up to RP7, which means 3 really, really good reps left in the tank that I could do with my pregnancy breathing. So I worked up to 4 at 220. Every other squat set I've done this training block has been RP4, maybe even less than RP4. So that was the only week where I actually did a top set that was like relatively heavy. But by relatively heavy, I mean that would usually be what I would lift in week 1. And then day 2, that's my primary bench day. The only thing that's really changed there is a lot of low arch variations so that I'm not engaging my stomach at all, and I'm keeping the tension entirely in my chest. And then deadlifts, I think this is honestly funny that I can still lift 3 reps at 300 pounds at RP6. And again, all of my other sets were RP4 or less the entire training block. But the fact that I'm maintaining my strength as well as I am, while not even focusing on it and focusing on all these other different approaches to pregnancy, is kind of cool. Like, it's nice to see that I've been able to maintain my strength, even though that is just a very, very back burner goal. And then this is my day 4. So on day 4, I just have 3 sets of volume squats. This was just 3 sets of 8 at 185 pounds. And then I had some close grip bench, also just 3 sets. And obviously all these days they have accessory movements, which is the bulk of the workout. And then day 5, I had another bench day, and this was 3 reps at 140 pounds. I have again been able to push my RPs on bench a little bit more because you're not worried about the pelvic floor. I went in all of these details in my first trimester workout video, but I feel like I'm just going to be repeating some of these things over and over again just to reiterate the importance of the mental and physical shift that you make training as a power lifter versus training for pregnancy. Even though I'm squatting, benching, and deadlifting, I'm not like exerting myself super hard. I'm not bracing. I'm breathing very specifically and intentionally in conjunction with my pelvic floor. And I will also say that in general, like obviously my weights are a lot lighter. So week 4 of a training block, which was when I hit 16 weeks pregnant, is like how a normal week 1 or even less than week 1 would look. So I'm really, really not pushing myself at all. I think that's all I have to say. I feel like I've been rambling. But yeah, I've been liking my training blocks during pregnancy. My cat's tail. It's been a fun change of pace, and it's been honestly so nice. I think the nicest thing about training while pregnant has been not having to try on deadlifts and getting to focus on different types of movements, because usually I go into a workout and I'm like, what am I going to hit on squat, bench, or deadlift? It's going to be something really crazy. It's going to be something really heavy. And now it's just like, okay, I'm doing like maybe 3 sets of squats in a workout instead of 7, 3 sets of deadlift in a workout instead of 7. Now I'm doing all these other pregnancy focused exercises afterwards, and everything's like a lot different of a structure. And even just my mindset behind my approach to every workout is different. But it's been really fun and just really cool knowing that I'm working out with a baby inside of me. It's so funny. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.